I think you're going to lose a lot of money in this cycle by not taking profit. However, I am going to talk about something very, very different here. This has been a question for a while. I'm going to teach you and show you something that you should be doing with your altcoins, especially in this upcoming cycle, in somewhat a very, very small window. But honestly, you kind of need to pay massive attention to this. Try not to get caught out. Try not to get married to stuff. You may well be noticing your Tether value go up, but in altcoins, there may well be a small window where you are going to capitalize. These are known as Altseasons. Within this video, I'm going to explain how these work and how to maximize your profit. Certainly, if you are wanting to, accumulate more BTC or Tether, you can do this very, very simply with some simple tools and some simple knowledge, which I'm going to give you all in one big hit. I'm also going to outline my whole entire plan for this cycle. You probably don't want to miss that, so don't skip ahead. But anyways, let's get on to it. We're going to start about the first bit first, the bread and butter, market cycle. Talked about it briefly not too long ago. We're going to do a bit of a refresher. So on the screen, we have the simple market analysis of the total 2. This is the previous cycle from when I first joined, which was 2017, 2018. We had a very, very big push and then into a bear market. And you're probably wondering, well, why is this ever relevant? Talked about it before. We've got to talk about this obvious situation. Accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown, right? That is kind of how markets move, right? It's very, very simple. But there's a little window in this period where certain things happen, and it's called dominance dropping. And this is what we've got to be very, very mindful of. Previous cycle, obviously, this was when the ERC20 sort of situation happened. We had a bit of a blow up in terms of market went back into Bitcoin, and then we had this new alt season in previous periods. Now we're getting to a point where we're getting towards high level dominance, which would indicate a potential alt season coming very, 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 very soon. Just saying. However, there is a lot of situations here in terms of what we need to know as data. This data is simple. This data is very simple. We need to look at this. This is from blockchaincenter.net, random website. But what this does, it tells us, is it an alt season yet, or is it Bitcoin season? Kind of obvious, I know. Now, the idea is to buy when it's low and then distribute profit when it's high. That's kind of obvious, right? You want to be heavy in Bitcoin at certain points and heavy in altcoins at other points, right? Which is kind of the crux of it. And we can see which altcoins have been doing better versus BTC over the last couple of months. But this is what people forget. People tend to just get married to their altcoins and get stuck into altcoins when realistically you shouldn't be. So Ash, what the hell do you do? Well, good question. You need to be in altcoins at certain points and be out of them at certain points. I know, dumb, but it happens. Basically, you need to be in altcoins when dominance of Bitcoin is at its highest. That would indicate that value of altcoins are lower versus Bitcoin. So if you imagine like a little seesaw weighing scale here, when dominance is high, it's crushing everything. When it is low, it's obviously done the opposite and it's flipped it. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Ash, you've covered this multiple times, but I'm going to go into a massive, massive tangent on something that people may well have missed out, in my opinion. The missing part. BTC pair of Polkadot. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit this. I'm a massive Polkadot fan. You probably know that. However, do I think that this is going to do an all-time high in the Satoshi Bitcoin pair? Probably not. Why? Massive run. What we've seen over the course of time is diminishing returns. Diminishing returns, i.e. Bitcoin in the BTC pair of altcoins tend to not get as high as they used to, right? Chainlink is a fantastic example of this, and I upset a lot of people when I talked about this. Back in 2020, Link was going on a massive, massive run. Huge run. And it was like ridiculous levels. But even though it did this, and look at the dates, this is in 2020, okay? 2020, not 2021, 2020. Bitcoin all-time high was, one high was here in May 2021. The other high was in November 2021 as well. Look at the difference between the Satoshi pairs. I know it's hard to see, but this was much higher than versus this. Sometimes you find that diminishing returns happens on a lot of things. You can look at Litecoin as a great example. XRP is a great example, right? There's going to be a moment, and this is where the important part happens. You need to just jump out and hopefully, fingers crossed, you're going to secure the BTC bag and grow wealth over that period. Why am I talking about this? I think people miss the point of this and they just look at the USD pairs. There's going to be a moment where this is going to rally high. It's going to go into an alt season, that little window where dominance drops and these are going to run. When you talk about this in terms of like genuine, speak, let's just say if Polkadot goes with say 5,000 Satoshis, it's basically doing like a 3 and a bit X, right? Give or take. If you put 3 times, 5 on terms of the price, yeah, cool. Polkadot will then be worth 8 times 3.5, whatever. It's not a massive amount. But if Bitcoin, say, goes 120, 130,000, you're probably going to see an all-time higher dot. But actually, this may never be as high. It might, only go up a little bit. The question I've got to you guys, and if you're watching this, is when the hell do you jump out your altcoins? Because there's going to be a moment where you're going to look at the prices and going to go, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Or, oh my God, this hasn't done enough, right? Personal opinion. So in terms of these indicators, what we're looking at here is one of two things. Your Satoshi pairs have to be low, which is why dominance is high, hence why you should be holding altcoins. However, when you start noticing, and this is where it gets important, so pin your ears back, if this dominance then does start to drop, what are your altcoins doing? The question I've got for everyone is this. The ETF inflows are ridiculously high. I know. How much of retail are going to push the can down the road for altcoins? Because that's what's going to happen, right? Retail will come in, they will look at Bitcoin, they will see it at ridiculous price and go, I'm not buying that, that's far too expensive, I'm not going to make money on that. They'll start buying Dogecoin and all kinds of random stuff, not understanding how market caps work and how TikTokers and all these people will start inflating the price and make it even bigger. And then it becomes a problem. And then it gets a bit daunting and horrible. And it's like, I hate crypto because all the plebs are back. But it's kind of where the exit liquidity is, right? Now, this is the important part. Don't get confused. When dominance does start to drop, eventually when it does, when retail come, you are going to be very, very disappointed if you aim far too high in those BTC pairs. However, it's fine because if Bitcoin's going up anyways, you're going to be making money. The question I've got to you is, how much money, and I'm going to go through my profit plan in a minute, are you going to allocate to Bitcoin, Tether, or fiat? There's the three there, in my opinion, that I will be doing personally. In my opinion, if I start noticing certain things happen in the market, so for example, the total 3/BTC, if this starts going up, I'll be happy, right? This lower this goes, the more opportunity we're going to get for altcoins. If this goes high, cushy, right? But when we start looking at some of these pairs here, let's just look at DOT. As I said before, would you be disappointed with that if your BTC Satoshi value of it only makes like a 3 or a 4x? You'd probably be a bit bummed. But then you got to think of the bigger picture. Well, if I'm holding Bitcoin from that and I've made a load of extra Bitcoin for free, probably pretty happy, right? Again, look at NIA. NIA protocol is another good example here. Really low, could go up quite a bit, could make a couple of X's. But people forget this part. What if Bitcoin makes multiple X's on top of it as well? Then you've got that multiple of that BTC pair. That's where it is. So, in simple terms, let's go through my plan. So this is going to sound very noddy and very, very much of a cop-out, but when I make enough money, I will probably jump out, which sounds daft. The problem we've got is we do not know what's going to happen in terms of the market cycle end and the market cycle start, right? Which sounds daft, I know. But when we look at this in terms of where we were before, in terms of market cycles, we're pretty much in a bull run right now, right? The question is, how high does it go? I know, mad. But when you start thinking, well, what if, say, NIA protocol goes up to, say, these levels up here and creates a high up to this point and then melts? I would be very, very tempted to just go and sell it all at that point, thinking, you know what, I've made a ton of Bitcoin off it. I'm really, really happy with my position, and I will just do that. That is the thing that's going to be playing on my mind this cycle is, will it just be a small window of opportunity where Bitcoin will eventually go up and up and up and up? But to get more Satoshis, you've got to leverage altcoins to enable that to happen, right? I know, sounds daft. But too many people will get married to their bags and they will keep buying into altcoins. They'll keep buying altcoins and holding altcoins forever. And then they're noticing that diminishing returns. I said it before, right? Let's look at it. Look at the likes of Litecoin, BTC, Litecoin pair, right? This is Litecoin. It's just diminished over time. A lot of altcoins will do this over time. Small windows of opportunity you've got to get in and you've got to get out. So yes, we are at the start of a bull cycle. Yes, everything is starting to tick up. Everything's starting to look great. With broken structure, we're looking pretty damn good, right? That's obvious. The question is, how often do we need to be in altcoins? How often do we need to be selling into Bitcoin? Looking at that dominance, buy it when it's high and then sell them when it's low is hugely important, right? Especially on the BTC.D. That is the caveat to this. We need to be buying when it's high and then selling when it's low. Problem is, not all your altcoins are going to move at the same time. Some of them will underperform, some of them will overperform. It's just the way it is. And yes, I have talked about this before. It's on the screen, very, very clear. I will be selling all of my altcoins when the time is right. It may well not be the right time for you. It may not be the right time for anyone. I do not know where this market top's going to be. But if I see my altcoins have made me a horrendous amount of Bitcoin, I will then manage that Bitcoin position. If that Bitcoin position carries on going up in dollar value, I will be slowly taking profit into Tether or into fiat and just enjoying my life essentially, right? I think that's important. So to recap this is the simple part. You need to be in altcoins as high as this possibly is. You need to then sell. I know you've got to get to the fact of divorcing your altcoins into potentially Bitcoin, into potentially Tether, whatever it may be, when this drops like a stone. It will drop. If we are going to see a 40%, 30%, even lower dominance, there's probably a chance that you have made money in an alt season because everything has piled into altcoins versus BTC. That's the caveat. That's the weighing scale. That's it done. If you like this video, please do leave a like. It means a lot. Thank you for the support on the channel recently. Obviously, since the new update and stuff like that, it looks a lot better, doesn't it? I know. There is a video floating around my head. I recommend you watch that.